Hello, hello, friends.
Ah,
Welcome to Clips. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallisa Cobb. I'm really excited about today's episode. For those of you who are not familiar with our show, it is called CityClips Live, and we focus on North Florida business and tech. And I'm excited to have Wallisa here today because she's an expert in the local real estate market, and she is one of the top 20% producers in the area. So I'm really excited to talk about all things real estate. And you specialize in residential, and you've had a variety of experience with just selling, and you're a brokerage, right? Uh, with Cobb Realty and Investment Company. So I'll give a quick intro about Cobb Realty and Investment Company, and then we'll talk about Walisa's story. And if you have any questions, I'll save that for the end. And yes, so Cobb Realty and Investment Company provides high-level expertise in Tallahassee real estate, sales, and the mortgage lending industry within the states of Florida and Georgia. Our customer service philosophy is unique, and our agents provide unquestionable professional real estate services to both sellers and buyers. I know I'm saying our, but it's really there. Cobb Realty's foundation is built upon establishing lifelong relationships with all of our clients. So thank you so much, Wallisa, for joining us today.
you're
Born and
welcome.
raised in Tallahassee, and did you know you were going to eventually start and own your own business?
Um, I didn't. It's funny that you asked that question because I initially thought that I didn't have any good points of reference for like business owners, but I really did. Growing up, it was either the snack or frozen cup lady's house that was on the corner, right? That she was an entrepreneur, but I didn't look at it in that sense. Or it was the next door neighbor who owned a masonry company. I just never looked at it in that sense until I was much older and started reflecting on, the fact that I did have examples. Not in my immediate family per se. I didn't have any business owners, anyone that was even remotely in the real estate industry. I kind of stumbled into this career. So to answer your question, no, never in a million years did I think I would own a business. And
And
and I celebrate 20 years in the business this year.
oh my gosh, 20
Yeah.
years is crazy.
Yeah.
And I believe we met, I mean, at least it had to have been within the 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's so long ago. It's
I
crazy.
know, right? The time goes by so fast.
Yeah, we were fellow BNIers. Shout out to the Tuesday group. Tuesday lunch to be
Lunch.
exact, because we were not morning people.
Yeah.
um, and so yeah, you specialize in multiple unique things, including providing military relocation,
Hmm.
uh, and you have insight to affordable housing too, and first time home buyers.
Yeah.
But you also do luxury homes, don't you?
I'm starting to get into more luxury homes. I'm also a real estate developer. So a
Oh,
lot of what we're doing now is more of your higher end new construction.
oh, awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit from the business perspective, like what are you noticing with the local market? And obviously, I'm seeing headlines. This is my general observation. I mean, there's obviously there's demand for housing.
Hmm.
Um, and across the board in the country, construction is not it's a little, there's low inventory, right? Unless it's changing.
Um, so there's a lot of construction taking place in Tallahassee, but not affordable. So, are you familiar with the Alice report that the United Way puts out? It's Alice stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed People, right? And so, what the report has said year after year is half of our population lives below the poverty line. So if you look at what average costs are for new construction, it's just unaffordable. And so I do want to step back a little bit and kind of tell you how I stumbled into real estate, and because I think it will make it a little bit clearer as to why I'm passionate about affordable housing and passionate about helping veterans. So right out of college, I got my master's in 97, started working in disasters, hazard mitigation to be specific, in 1998, and did it for a year and realized after the wildfires that we had throughout the state in 98 that disasters were that just was not my thing. But one thing that happened, and I think everything kind of comes full circle and happens the way that it's supposed to happen. But what happened is during the wildfires, when we had what they call a disaster field office, a DFO set up, the housing representative was not there, and they asked me to fill in for that spot. A few months later, I was the manager at the Florida Housing Finance Corporation for first-time homebuyer programs, and I was there for about 7 years. Did about $1 billion in down payment and closing cost assistance statewide. Created a lot of the programs that they're still running now within our state. And so that's where I think my passion started with helping first-time homebuyers. Because as the administrator, then I was promoted to the administrator. As the administrator of first-time homebuyer programs, I would really only get involved when something went wrong, right? If something went wrong in a transaction or someone wasn't happy about something. But I could tell by the volume and the numbers that we were doing that we were making an impact throughout the state. So got my real estate license, really got my license just to be an investor. So I've been an investor for as long as, I've been a real estate agent or real estate broker. But I fell in love with that opportunity to assist someone with doing something that they never thought they could do. And so when you talk and when we have the discussion about, the state of residential real estate in Tallahassee and affordability and things of that nature, I will always be the first to say that being an administrator over statewide programs, I am so proud of our community because we do a very good job with being innovative, creating resources. There are so many down payment and closing cost assistance programs new to the county and the city, are programs to help those builders that want to build affordable housing. And so I just want to give kudos while I have this platform and opportunity to our city and our county for doing those things.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you were saying that, I think nationwide, there aren't major incentives, but locally we're doing a really good job with getting that started. So what do you see that we can, I guess you can say, as a market, improve and help assist with affordable housing? Because we see, we're seeing a lot of student housing,
we do,
pop up around downtown and midtown and everything. Yeah, and I do see these brand new developments. What are ways that we can assist and help with that?
Yes. So, in your question is related to affordability because there, as you said, there are apartment complexes going up, student housing, but they're not necessarily affordable. So, if you go back to what I said about the Alice report, and we're keeping in perspective who our community is and what they earn, there's still some growth and some improvements that can be made in terms of making rents more affordable. And if you think about it, housing is that one basic need, right? Everyone needs that. And so they can build these apartments and build these higher end $500,000, $600,000 houses, but are we meeting the needs of the masses? And I would say no. Well, we're not doing a good enough job at meeting the needs of those who really, and we're not talking about people that don't get up and go to work every day. We're talking about
Right.
people that get up, go to work 40 hours, sometimes have two jobs and still can't afford to, make their ends meet.
Yeah, and I remember speaking to another business owner that they were able to secure amazing talent from FSU. Someone just graduated. They want to be able to keep them to stay in Tallahassee, but they're not seeing anything at the rate that they could afford, for junior level or someone who's at a entry level position in Tallahassee. Because, the starting rates for salary is still relatively low compared to other cities.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see like, okay, if I'm spending this much for housing, then why don't I just go to a bigger city, right, and get paid more?
Yeah.
I'll be okay to like lose some money and live in a bigger city that has more attractions, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and and I'm sure you've heard this too at chamber events and different economic forecasting. Like if we could just improve our labor, well, the airport, the flight expenses,
Right. Yeah.
there's a number of things, it's holistic, but if we could do these right things, we can retain, we have Florida A&M, we have Tallahassee State College, we have Florida State, all three great higher education universities and colleges that are graduating people every semester, that some of them would like to stay, but they just don't have that, opportunity to stay, whether that's because incomes are so low, housing
Mhm.
is so high,
Mhm.
to be able to commute in and out for those that like to travel or want to go back home to see family is too expensive. So we definitely have the opportunity to improve some things, but what I do know is it's been a constant conversation, and I think those that work in those fields of economic development and, like I said, the chamber work tirelessly to make improvements when it comes to those things.
Yeah, and we're starting to see momentum. We're seeing award recognitions at OEV, and then the chamber also is doing well with starting to educate the community about things that are happening. But yeah, I think things are starting to shift. People are starting to see like Tallahassee is a great place to grow large businesses. Amazon coming in, that helps too. Okay, but then for you, did you get into real estate development because there was the need?
Honestly,
Because I was like, it must be a different world.
I
Like,
didn't.
what's that like with real estate
Mhm.
development?
I so early on, no, I didn't get into really developing or investing or flipping or any of that because there was a need for others. There was a need for me.
Mm-hmm.
Being a single parent at the age of 17, trying to put myself through college, getting a bachelor's and master's, like um I had to do something. And everything that I would read says the most wealthy people in the world work where? In real estate, right? And so I will say, initially it was a selfish feat. Um, but I will say, today that we have our investment company has been able to create opportunities, affordable opportunities for people that wouldn't otherwise be able to purchase a home. So, for example, we often go in and fully renovate homes. First-time homebuyers don't, sometimes they can't walk in a house and see the vision of what it could be, right? They want to walk in and everything is fully renovated, stainless steel appliances, they want all the bells and whistles on a budget, right? So a few years ago, keeping that in mind, we did start, doing some of the developing that would help people, especially first-time home buyers in that price range, purchase a home that they wouldn't have to walk in and fix over time, and or they wouldn't have to settle, because essentially it's the homes are fully renovated and almost new.
Wow. So, and I'm glad you mentioned, because I did mention this earlier, you're a FAMU alum. And also, you've overcome a lot of personal obstacles to get to where you are. And even BNI, just some of the personal things that you had to tackle and survive, let's say. I don't know, how public you want to mention some of the things, the personal things that you went through, but I'm just saying, it was amazing.
It's part of my story. So I've always been, as an adult, the person that goes to the dentist every 6 months. I go for checkups every year. I got a mammogram every year. And in 2018, I got a mammogram done, and they said, well, come back in, feel, something in your breast. But that wasn't the first time that it happened. It was, my breast tissue was just lumpy. So I didn't think anything of it. I came back in, and then they said, oh no, I think we need to do a biopsy. So long story short, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So 2018, I spent a great deal of time in the bed and in surgery, in recovery. And it's amazing that it probably at that time was one of my best years in real estate. And I give all kudos and praises to my daughter for that, because when I was diagnosed, she immediately got her license and helped me run the business. And so she is my business partner now, and still works in the business and loves it. But yeah, definitely was, that was a challenge. It was life altering, definitely made me look at things differently. It was an opportunity for me to sit back and evaluate and really think about things that we don't like to have these conversations about mortality, but we do. And, need to talk about death and your assets, and, what happened, if something was to happen to yourself or anyone in your family. So it was the time for our family to kind of sit down and sit with that information and make a plan. And so I didn't know I was going to be talking about this today, but that takes me to, if anyone wants to visit my Facebook page, I just recently posted, I have coordinated, excuse me, I have coordinated a legacy planning virtual event with financial advisor, insurance agent, probate, and real estate attorney, that is taking place on Monday, April 14th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So great opportunity for people to get information about, exactly what I'm talking about, protecting your legacy, planning for, and it's on my personal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And so I am the economic development chair. So we're always looking for, opportunities to give back in the community as it relates to educating people on economic concerns. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I shared a little bit about your Facebook, but might as well pull up and make sure that we show your website. Wow, that's a beautiful house right there.
Beautiful.
And
I love that kitchen.
I know, I want one. Phil and I are, and of course I didn't mention, but I should mention that you were my realtor and helped us land this beautiful home here in the Buck Lake area. You were very patient. Let me just say, let me add that you were very patient with my husband. He was more particular than me.
No, you all were a pleasure to work with. And it wasn't even that. It was like a simultaneous, you're selling your home. I'm selling one house and you're buying another.
Yes.
One. And so, that can be stressful for anyone. So, no, he was great.
Yeah, no, that was a great experience. And it's been a wonderful experience in this neighborhood. the kids walking distance from amazing schools. And so thank you so much for helping us with that transition. So
You're
in the
welcome.
near future, we have to look at figuring out, do we get a bigger house or do something else? We'll see. We'll have to reach back out to you.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, we still have some time. I just wanted, thank you for touching on your personal experience. And I'm so thankful for you to, obviously for you surviving, first of all, thank the
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Yes.
And I'm just amazing how you went through life and raising your daughter and your family. And just, do you have any inspirational, motivational advice for the entrepreneur out there who's personally struggling right now?
Yeah. So what I didn't mention about 2018, I said, I spent a lot of time, in surgeries, recovery, doctor's appointments. What really could have been a low part of my life was so rewarding. I was top 25 women to know in Tallahassee in 2018. I received a civil rights empowerment award in 2018. Like things just kept happening for me. So where I could have maybe gotten down on myself, um, I didn't. I didn't. And so I always tell like entrepreneurs, no matter what industry you're working in, to stay focused on your why. And my why has always been, now I have a grandbaby, but I've been a single parent for a long time. My why was just making sure that I provided a different lifestyle for my two daughters. And so my why now is is my grandbaby, but everyone has a why. You just have to stay focused on why you started the business, why you're passionate. And I touched on family, but another why for me is, again, that reward of helping someone achieve something that they may have been told that they couldn't achieve. Because, if, as you can imagine, being a single parent and a parent pregnant at 16, having her at 17, I had a lot of, whether it was perceived or direct, I had a lot of obstacles, and a lot of reasons why I shouldn't have done things or I shouldn't have been able to do them. But that really motivated me to keep going. And so, again, just remembering why you got into the business on those tough days really help you sustain. Because just think about it, if I've been doing this for 20 years, we had a whole market crash in 2008, right? So there have been times that the real estate market hasn't been good, and this is my sole source of income. But proper planning. I attended the JMI program, and I learned, and that's another thing. Don't be afraid as an entrepreneur to constantly improve yourself, constantly learn. Of course, I just got my doctoral degree at 51. and and my kids were like, why are you going to school? But that's my exit strategy, right? I can't sell real estate for the rest of my life. And what I really do enjoy doing is educating and empowering people. So when I stop doing real estate, guess what? Dr. Cobb will be your professor somewhere. So yeah, so just if I can and empower or motivate someone as an entrepreneur that's struggling right now, just go back to your why and just push forward. Bad times, I know this is a cliche, but they can't last always. So they will pass. Things will always work themselves out. And I am just a firm believer that everything happens when and how it's supposed to.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. I would like to end with that, but I don't want to end yet. So because we still have a little time, and I know if you don't have a hard stop, because one of the things I didn't mention, and I know you're comfortable with it, because you being the top 20% producer,
Mhm.
that most realtors fail like 80%, and that's the statistics that I've heard floating around, that Most realtors don't really reach revenue goals that they should. But you've exceeded and surpassed, and I know you've sold a consistent amount of units every year.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention surviving the financial crash and surviving cancer and 2020. COVID.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yes.
You've survived a lot of things. So yeah, like what would you, as a practical advice to other realtors, you know, there's so many out there. What have you found to help you with your success and growth?
So and your question is how, what do I believe made me successful?
Yes. And like, I guess growing a business in Tallahassee and North Florida area.
Okay. So I get new realtors or up and coming realtors or those who want to be realtors contacting me all the time about the business, either wanting to shadow or wanting me to mentor or wanting to join the brokerage. And the first question that I always ask any one of them will tell you is, why did you get in the business? Because social media and television will make you think this is the most glamorous job in the world. Everyone's making a lot of money and it's easy. You just show someone a house and you make a lot of money, right? That couldn't be farther from the truth. So I attribute my success to my passion for wanting to help people, wanting people to succeed, whether they're selling their home or whether they're purchasing a home. Just making sure that I show up. I know what I'm doing. I'm accessible. The easiest thing in the world to do is be accessible and to answer your phone. And if you look at any statistic, people will tell you agents do not answer their phone. Easiest thing to do. And so for those up and coming or aspiring realtors, I would just say, have that conversation with yourself about why you want to be in the business and make sure it's for the right reason. It cannot be for monetary gain.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's true. Like follow up. Show up, follow up. Like that's the number one thing.
Easy, right?
Well, and also it's easy to do that, to really stand out in Tallahassee. Is that like, and I know you have some upcoming things. I would love to make sure we highlight those things. Can you share a little bit more about that?
I surely will. So for years, I've served on the Fair Housing Planning Committee for the Big Bend area. So we have our event coming up, and I'm going to read this so I don't mess up anything, but we're having the Big Bend Fair Housing Town Hall. It's entitled The Basics, Challenges, and Opportunities in Fair Housing. It will be held on Wednesday, April the 9th of this year, and from 8:30 to 2 p.m., located at the Providence Community Service Center, which is located at 1908 Highland Street, right here in Tallahassee. Perfect opportunity for people to come out and learn about their rights as renters, as homeowners. If there are any instances where people feel like they might have been, mistreated, or and want to have some questions answered, there will be several panelists, several experts that will be talking. I coordinated the last session, which will be at the end of the day, but I have the president of the Tallahassee Board of Realtors, the Tallahassee Board of Realtors, also a property manager that will be there, and also a veteran services provider that will be there, which is unique to this year. We had an appraiser last year, but we brought on someone that could speak about veteran services, because veterans do face so many challenges when it comes to discrimination for rental and also homeownership. So would love to have great participation in the community come out to this Big Ben event. So they don't have to be from Tallahassee or Leon County. We're inviting all surrounding areas.
Awesome. Wow. There's so much that you do for the community. Would you say that you reached the level of success that you've ever imagined, or are you now?
You know, I seriously, Julia, I look at myself as a community servant. Um, and though I've received several awards for that, from the community, whether it was the Golden Ace Award, I was the top ace several years ago, 12 or 13 years ago, and also being recognized by the Democrat and Tallahassee Women's Magazine for those same things. It's not for the accolades that I do it, it's because I know that it took so many people, it took a village, it took a great community for me to even be where I am today. Again, I can't say enough. Just I've told you where I started. All odds were against me, right? And so it takes a community coming together to help people that may not even know they need the help. Um, and so every day I just get up and see what I can do to do impart some knowledge, sometimes it's monetary, just something, to be able to help that the next person so that they're successful in their lives as well.
Well, thank you so much. I would love to start asking you a lot more questions, but I'm going to respect your time. Yeah, no, I thank you for taking the time to talk about your story and give us some words of encouragement and advice. And really, Tallahassee, you've really captured the essence of why Tallahassee is such a great business community. And I'm so glad that came out in our conversation. And thank you so much for doing all that you do for our area, not just Tallahassee, but obviously Big Bend region as a whole. So I'm really excited for where you go next and where you're going to be a professor. Like, that is awesome.
I'll let you know.
Thank you. So if you hang on for a few seconds, I'll just go ahead and wrap up. Thank you all. I know some of you will catch this recording later. And Wallisa, you've been amazing. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.